Hey guys, Mr. Marcus here, and as you can see, we're back with some Southampton Master League. And in today's episode, we have the rematches for you. One from the Champions League, the last group stage match of the Champions League. Certainly, we've already, qualified for the knockout stages. With a group with Bayern Munich in our team, with our Bayern Munich in our group, we are probably going to end up finishing second, considering that they are on the same points total as us, and we are, well, I doubt we can probably beat Liga Warsaw, and they will most likely beat FC20 without me scoring like 12 goals or whatever. Well, it's like 2 goal difference. I doubt we can beat Liga Warsaw by more than that. But in today's episode, we have the Champions League match, and we have 2 matches against 2 heavy-hitting opposition in Chelsea and Manchester City. Of course, the Chelsea match is the first match here, as we see Joe Campbell stretching and whatnot, and I think Jovetic is the one who's rolling the ball back and forth because he's so buzzing to get the game started. So of course, with the game, of course, with us as a home team, we kick off as gives it to Azpilicueta, former Chelsea player, and going all the way up to the 37th minute of the match, there's J. Rodriguez on the ball, runs past a couple of players, gets a shot away, and unfortunately for me, it's just wide of the post, as we see a half-time score of 0-0 between the two sides. Chelsea are one of those teams which don't really do much really against me. They keep the ball quite a lot and don't really try and get forward, which is quite weird because you think they would. As you see there, 1 shot, 1 on target from Chelsea, 4 shots, 2 on target from me. But in the 60th minute of the match, our Belhanda on the ball, waits for Jovetic to make the run. He ends up making said run, gets a shot away, comes out to J. Rodriguez, and J. Rodriguez, fortunately for me, okay, that's really fortunate that he ends up pinging that past whoever's standing on the post. I think it's Ramirez on the post just standing there. Unfortunately for me, it goes just past him. As we see Chelsea come forward here, and this was the most ridiculous goal I've ever seen conceded, as Oscar scores from the most ridiculous angle ever. So after trying to get the ball back with Schneiderlin, I pass the ball to Oscar, who's out wide on this right hand side, and for some reason he just pings in the back of the net. I don't know where Fraser Forster was going. But in the 74th minute, about 5 or 6 minutes later, Schneiderlin runs past about 4 players, ends up getting an opportunity to get a shot away, gets a shot away, comes out to Jovetic, and who again it just pings it into the back of the net to make it 2-1 to us. Fortunately for us, it's one of those opportunities that Thibaut Courtois has just been absolutely fantastic in the actual match, and we've just taken the opportunities which have basically come to us. But in the 84th minute of the match, Piccini gets a straight red card for that challenge. Nah, he doesn't. He just fights a bit with Felipe Luis and gets a yellow card. But yeah, I mean, I like seeing those animations, because those animations used to usually show like straight away it was going to be a straight red card, and you just knew. I mean, like that was in like the last games, but now of course now they show it as you have to sort of wait until the referee. It sort of adds a little bit more tension to the actual game. But anyway, in the last minutes of the match here, we see the likes of Chelsea passing the ball, but getting the ball to Ramirez here. As unfortunately for me, it comes out back to Alderweireld, who clears the ball to make it 2-1 to Southampton, and that was the final score. So an absolutely fantastic finish to us beating Chelsea essentially, which is a good job, because Chelsea are quite a difficult opposition to play against. I mean, they're not difficult when they come forward. I mean, I can always stop them going forward, but defensive wise, Chelsea are probably one of the better teams in the actual game in terms of defending, which is probably quite true considering that, you know, Mourinho with his bus and whatnot. So Mourinho as the bus driver. So into the second game of this episode, it is against Liga Warsaw in the Champions League. It's a home game for us, and it's the final game of the Champions League group stage. Of course, in the next episode, I think we'll find out who we face in the knockout stages. Also, it depends where we finish in this group as well, of course, because if we finish top, we'll get a team who finish second, and if we finish second, we're probably going to get in a team like the likes of Barcelona or whatever. So, with that logic, we come to basically the Champions League anthem in the background. Quite a faint anthem, because of course I want to keep the in-game audio as low as I can possibly keep it without drowning out my voice. Of course, Liga Warsaw, I sort of didn't destroy them in the first time I played them, but James Ward-Prowse has scored an absolutely fantastic volley. If you've missed that, I astound you. I astound you? That makes no sense. It's astounding. You should go and watch it. So, and we see there, Graziano Pella actually played in this match. Stevan Jovetic, I think, was on the bench. Belhanda, of course, plays like nearly every single match because his stamina recovery is just insane. I don't think I've actually rested him. He's just so goddamn good. Johan Belhanda, the former Montpellier player, which is good to know actually. I think he played at the same time as Giroud up front for Montpellier, and they just destroyed Ligue 1 when they won it. So yeah, I'm sure that's correct. And against Liga Warsaw, none of the players I recognise. Guilherme is probably the only player out of sort of place, considering that the rest of them have the likes of Niziak and Leswick. So stuff like that, of course, was expected. But of course, Fraser Forster in goal, he's an absolute beast. He's gone up by like 2 or 3 overall ratings since I started this series, which is now a season and come up to a season and a half in. So with that, of course, we kicked off as a home team, and of course we wanted to win this game because, well, winning the game could potentially mean we could finish top of the table instead of finishing second. But in the 26th minute of the match, Jay Rodriguez on the ball, tries to get past a couple of players, gets a shot away. Unfortunately for me, it's just over the bar as we get up to the half-time result of 0-0, which is quite bad. But again, I care about finishing top, but I doubt I can finish top. I wanted to rest some players against, because of course we have Manchester City next, so I wanted to rest some players. But into the 58th minute of the match here, Joel Campbell down his right hand side crosses it in to Jay Rodriguez, who heads it down, and unfortunately again it's just wide of the post. But coming to the 64th minute of the match here, Holger Badstuber goes flying in with that tackle there, as you see, and for some reason the referee gives me a straight red card for it. Me personally, it's hardly even a yellow card challenge, but hey, it's basically put me under a little bit of pressure coming into the last minutes of the match here, as we see someone gets a shot away against Fraser Forster, who ends up throwing the ball out. And with said pressure, it was quite frustrating because like I said, I wanted to win the game, but of course being down to 10 men, it makes it a little bit more difficult, and that was that. I'm just going to tell you that now because that was the final score. So the final score was 0-0 when basically we went down to 10 men for about 15 to 20 odd minutes in the last minutes of the match. Again, they tried to dominate with that, as you see Liga Warsaw trying to finish. I think they end up finishing third in the table because FC20 drew with Bayern Munich. If we'd beaten them, we would have finished top of the table, which is so goddamn annoying. I was right, Liga Warsaw did finish third in the table. But other groups, Group E, Barcelona and Ajax are through, so I'll probably end up facing our Barcelona, Real Madrid and Schalke from Group F are through, or Juventus, Group G and Shakhtar Donetsk. Chelsea I can't face because they're another Premier League side. Could face Bayer Leverkusen, who finished top in Group A, and I can't face Manchester United. AC Milan got through in Group B, and in Group C we had Galatasaray and PSG, who I could face Galatasaray. So that's quite a bad thing. Probably I'm going to end up getting Barcelona. I'm gonna say that now. But anyway, into the last match of this episode, and I said that correct for the first time in ages. Into the last match of this episode, it is against Manchester City away from home. Of course, for some reason, there's no loan issues with this game, so I can play as Stevan Jovetic as much as I want. Of course, the likes of Aguero and Dzeko and Silva, Nasri, Lampard, Toure, company. They bought Phil Jones, which was just ridiculous for some reason. They bought Phil Jones from Manchester United. Don't understand why you need a centre-back, but I can't complain there. But of course, we're playing the Etihad Stadium, Etihad with inverted commas, because of course every stadium is more or less Konami Stadium, or the Estadio del Nuevo Triunfo, or the Royal London Stadium, are the 3 stadiums which you're basically allowed to pick more. Well, you can change it up if you really wanted to, but it would just be unrealistic like hell. So here at the Etihad with inverted commas, they kicked off because of course they're the home team. And the thing I don't like about facing Manchester City this time is it means I'll probably end up facing them quite late in the season. But in the first minutes of the match, we end up getting down this right hand side of Joel Campbell, who ended up getting a shot away. Unfortunately for me, Stevan Jovetic can't get his big foot to it to stop, to basically put it in the back of the net. But in this, about 4 or 5 minutes later, Silva gets played for on goal by Nasri, and Silva just pops in the back of the net to make it 1-0 to Manchester City. So from basically from us having an attack in the first minutes of the match, they went and counter-attacked and they got their goal, which is really annoying because we probably deserve to be 1-0 up. So into the 11th minute of the match here, as Gardos heads it down to Schneiderlin, who loses the ball to Yaya Toure, gives the ball to David Silva, and Silva just waits and waits and waits, as Silva always does. Gives it to Aguero, and Aguero plays through Yaya Toure, who ends up just pinging it to the back of the net to make it 2-0 in the first 20 odd minutes of the match. And I was like, oh god, we're going to get absolutely destroyed here. So basically I was like, damage limitations, let's just try and get a goal here. So in the 42nd minute of the match here, Jay Rodriguez gets the ball after Company gives it straight to him. Tries to get past Pablo Zabaleta, does eventually get past him after he just skins past him a couple more times. Skins past Company as well, gets a shot away and scores a very good goal for the English striker, who for whatever reason does not get to play for England in this game. He should get to play for England. I mean, he scored so many goddamn goals in the last 2 seasons. But Anyway, a little bit of a rant there. Half-time score was 2-1 to Manchester City, which isn't it's not something which I couldn't come back from. but it was quite a difficult thing because Manchester City are quite good going forward. I can probably score more goals against them, but they could always score more against me. So in the 61st minute of the match here, Yaya Toure in the ball, gives it to Alexander Kolarov, gives it to Aguero, Aguero to Dzeko, Dzeko to Silva, Silva back to Dzeko, and Dzeko just pings it past Fraser Forster to make it 3-1, and I just skipped the replay and the celebration because I was so pissed off at that moment. But I brought on Graziano Pella I must have been at half time, and literally I tried my best to try and get opportunities. For some reason the referee gives me a second yellow card for that challenge. Personally for me, that's an absolutely amazing challenge. Well, it gives a straight red, but it's a great challenge from Wanyama, and the referee gives a second yellow. Supposedly Jesus Navas injured, but so much bullcrap. And then literally in the last minutes of the match, I lose my head a little bit. Went with 2 sliding tackles with Schneiderlin. Referee again gives another straight red card. So we finished the match with 9 men, which is pretty bad considering that, you know, getting 1 red card is bad enough, but getting 2 is pretty dreadful. But in the last minutes of the match, we should have probably got another red card there with Gardos. But Manchester City beat us 3-1 to basically stop our winning streak in the Premier League anyway, because we stopped winning, I think, in the last episode when Bayern Munich beat us. But Vincent Kompany got man of the match with 7.0 rating. And we see the table here in a couple of moments. And we see that Liverpool and Manchester United drew 2-2. Arsenal beat Reading 3-1. And as we see there, Arsenal on 41 points, Manchester City 34, Liverpool on 33, and we are 4th with 32. So if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and catch you later.